Let's go.
Hola, and we are live with UFC Noche UFC full card betting breakdown. We're gonna have 4 people at some point. Lou Betya will be joining us, but for the first 3, maybe 4 fights or so, I'll be joined by the new usual crew of Just My 2 Cents and JB, Jewish Bettor. Pretty good card. Frankly, I'm more excited about this card than last week, simply for one reason, and that's the thumbnail, Fernando Padilla. So not going to hide it, ever my bias on the channel. I maybe at some point will pick against Fernando Padilla, but I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be this week in Mexico against Kyle Nelson. So we'll talk about that fight and the other 10 fights. Zhang, go ahead and put Fernando in the Zhang parlay, though, because we already know. Got a good chat. Got Zhang in the chat. Even always love when Zhang is able to make it. We got Stubborn Mick. Got Glenbot. Love Glenbot. Mr. Noah. And the family portrait, which needs that Shaggy Devin the Dude added to it at some point. He's probably in the chat right now lurking. And then Dylan, a big fan of Jewish Bettor. We're all fans of Jewish Bettor. And I dream of Zhang Li as well. Before we get into it, 2 cents, how we doing today? Hola, ¿cómo está?
Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo estás? Nah, man, thank you very much for having me. I love being on the show. It's one of the highlights of my week. Dude, I had a sweet little intro plan, but Lou not being here is really fucking it up, and I really just don't know what to do with myself right now. But shout out to you, shout out to JB.
We'll reintroduce when Lou joins us for like the main card or whatever. We'll just reintroduce. So
okay, cool.
This is probably going to be the most offensive breakdown of the year for us, based on the Gringo Spanish we've already had.
Yeah, dude, gotta love that Spanglish. But man, shout out to you guys, shout out to the chat. Noche UFC, let's fucking go.
Is it Noche UFC or is it UFC Noche? I think it's Noche UFC. But Jewish Bettor doesn't seem to care, but cares about the fights on the card. How you doing, buddy?
No. I think it's a good debate, but yo mis tengo queso and mi pantalones.
That's too bad. Cheese on the pants, always rough. But yeah, how you doing? How you feeling about today? We talked about one fight in particular. We'll get to it when we get to it. You got Fernando on the show. Good for you.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, Fernando.
I'm just excited to get some of these bets in. I look forward to this. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm excited about this card. I like the Mexico City cards. Honestly, I like the elevation aspect of it. Honestly, for whatever reason, I like when fights are at elevation.
This is not, dude. You think this card's in Mexico, bro?
No.
Okay.
No, but like I'm just no, but like just what I'm saying.
Vegas elevation?
Yeah, I mean, no, but like the elevated fight card for I don't mean
the
elevated
I'm
fight
stoned,
night
bro.
Card. No, you're fine. Like I'm just saying, I like the elevated fight night cards. This
elevated, gotcha.
At least I get it. It's some lower level fighters, but I think all the fights are very well matched up with purpose. So like that's what I more meant.
Yeah, no, that makes more sense.
Yeah, so I didn't explain that well. I got new glasses, so if I look different, that's why. My dog punched me in the face over the weekend, gave me a solid right hook to the right eye, popped the lens out. So, yes, I have new glasses. So, if something looks different, that's what it is. But enough of the fashion talk, enough of the glasses talk. Let's get into the program here. Fernando, yeah, lots of Fernando love. Love to see it. Josephine Knutson didn't get that contract, but here she is on a fight card already, so who cares if you get a contract or not? Fighting Marnic Man, who didn't get a contract because she lost her fight to Bruna Brazil, and then she was going to go down to atomweight, but now she's taking the shot at the UFC. I mean, this is not great at all. The question is Knutson finisher or not? I mean, that really is my only question. I think it's a complete mismatch. On the feet, I don't think it's, even on the ground, Marnic has that much of an advantage. But that would be where Marnic has to try to get this fight. But, yeah, Knutson, I think she gets the finish in this spot. I think her kickboxing has looked a lot sharper, more aggressive prior to the Contender Series. But this also could just go go the distance and be a pretty one-sided decision. I just don't see Marnic Mann's route to victory at all. And Knutson at whatever she is, -4, 70 or whatever. This is a -3.5 spot for me, honestly, because I think she could get the finish or she wins a dominant decision. I don't see her dropping around. Marnic Mann is really bad. So really starting off this elevated fight card well. 2 cents.
I mean, you said it, dude. Marnic is not very good. I'm going to go with Frennd Knutson. They have like the same number of fights pretty much, and she's a way better striker, I think. I'm not betting it because it's low-level chick fight. And, dude, if Marnic Mann beats her, like if she like grinds out a greasy split, like, God, I would not want to have.
I don't think she has the ability to do that.
But, yeah, I'll go with her.
Yeah, and I hate to bring up a fighter going to be on the card later, but maybe Josephine pulls a Zellhuber here where she just freezes. But like I just can't go with that. So yeah, it's not. I think the -3.5 maybe, but other than that, there's not a lot I like on this fight. I think it's a pretty bad mismatch for a debut, but it is what it is. We'll learn about Knutson in our next fight probably. What do you think, JB?
Yeah, no, we just saw Knutson. Like I think it's Knutson or Knutson. I don't know how to say it, but they were saying it Knutson. I guess that's some like Swedish shit, but yeah, I think she's part of the All-Stars training with Khamzat Chimaev. You got a Khamzat card coming up. I actually just really think they're trying to get her an easy win here. They might even run her right back on that next pay-per-view card with Khamzat on the same card. He'll probably be in the crowd too, you know what I'm saying, here at this card in Vegas. So just look through the UFC's trying to get the win. I don't think Marnic Mann is really UFC caliber. Her grappling is pretty mids in general, and she doesn't really have the wrestling to get it to the ground itself. Knutson looked pretty strong in the clinch versus Verbeek, who's just way larger of a female than Marnic Mann. So give me Knutson, and I think she gets it done by like a dominant 30-26.
So it is Knutson, according to Moise, who's from,
okay. Yeah, give me Knutson third round or decision, but she could just kind of fuck her up in round 1. I'm just trusting the toughness of Marnic Mann.
Yeah. And Glenn
She's won 6 fights before, so.
Yeah, Glenn Bott with the over 1.5. Not a bad call either. Yeah, it's -575. The price is out of control, obviously. +425 on Marnic. God bless you if you're betting the money lines right now. So, yeah, this is not a fight we're looking to get too involved with. Hopefully, Knutson looks much better than her Contender Series bout. Another weird fight. There's some weird fights at the beginning of this card. Charlie Campbell and Alex Reyes. Alex Reyes got knocked out 6 years ago by Mike Perry and started running a gym for 6 years. He's still like training and he's still active. I think he's going to show up to this fight in shape, but he's also showing up to this fight at 37 years old, taking on a 28-year-old who fucking bangs, who should have killed Chris Duncan. We would have never had any of this Chris Duncan nonsense in the UFC if Charlie Campbell just finished the job, but he didn't. It's one of the problems with Charlie Campbell, along with the naked leg kicks that sometimes allow him to get connected on. But he's beat some decent guys along his career. Alex Reyes being out for 6 years, like, who knows what type of Alex Reyes shows up here. Maybe it really is to his benefit, allowed him to heal up or whatever was the reason for him to be out. But last time we saw him, he was starched in a minute by knees. I think he gets starched in the first round by Charlie Campbell, but it's like it's so much unknown with a guy off 6 years. I can't remember the last time we looked at a guy who fought one time in the UFC and then took 6 years off. I don't think it's ever. So Charlie Campbell, round 1, square KO play for me. JB. What do you think?
Reyes really wasn't even like that. I'm not trying to diss on the guy, but he wasn't like a world beater 6 years ago, right?
No.
And like how he basically missed his entirety of his prime. How much better are you going to get? Like the game's developed as well since then, and it just is he going to keep up with the times? And on top of that, he hasn't been competing like Charlie Campbell. Charlie Campbell's been that's fine. Yeah, he's training, and I get that, but he's not like competing like Charlie Campbell is and has the octagon time. And Johnny Campbell's finishing these guys too as well. His loss was a guy, I believe, only against how many losses? He have 2 losses, right?
2 losses.
One of them being the Chris Duncan, where he was pretty much winning the fight and then got clipped by a right hand. I didn't think he. I
That was
think
a
he.
crazy war. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, I don't think he was expecting Duncan, who was so hurt, to even fire at that, like with that right hand there, and he just got caught slipping. And I think this is a good spot for a Campbell round 1 or round 2 knockout. If Alex Reyes really isn't, I'm banking on the 6-year layoff not helping him, and this being an easy spot for Charlie Campbell.
I don't mean to talk about behind the scenes too much, but a certain Lou Betya just showed up and was trying to put on his headset with his sombrero, and like he just kept like, and he can. All right, let's not delay.
I wish I could have seen that.
Here.
All right,
Louis Betya.
Buenos tardes,
hey, hola, amigo. We already had our gringo Spanish at the beginning. Maybe 2 Cents knows some other words that he can tell you in his little Maryland twang. But Lou, how you doing today? You had to make it on the show. There wasn't a choice.
See, I'm glad to be here with such acknowledged Jews.
And just my 2 cents.
And the most, yes, and the
who's like the most goy of all time.
The paragon of goyism, just my 2 cents. Glad to be here. I'm glad I only missed the Knutson fight. By the way, my prediction is Knutson wins. There's my breakdown.
Well, can you send that to Brady?
Do me a favor, put that money line in a parlay, because nothing can go wrong when you parlay minus 600s, guys.
Zhang Li parlays don't care about those rules.
Zhang Li parlays are not the parlays I'm crucifying.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Everybody in the community that's
Zhang Li has put 800 in their parlays before. Just saying.
No, Aaron, these are parlays that are 6-leg parlays that pay even money. Those are the parlays I hate.
Yeah, I understand. Good to have you, Lou. 2 Cents. Do you have anything for Lou, or have we ruined the moment?
No, I do. As a matter of fact, this is perfect because, boys, before the stream and knowing who was going to be on the stream, I came to a little realization. Like, we've always had the classic setup: looks, brains, wild card. The issue is we have not been working with our full crew, but now we got it. All right. Aaron's the brains, I'm the looks, Lou's the wild card, and JB is the muscle.
Wild card,
bitches! Formula, there's nothing we can't accomplish.
There we go.
I don't think Jewish and muscle should be mentioned in the same sentence.
No, dude, I'm sorry. You look too strong. You look too physically imposing. So,
yeah, we built our pyramids and we said no more of that. That's enough. But yeah, it's good to have you, Lou. You missed one fight, as you know. We can even get to you on this fight. Actually, let's get to 2 Cents now, and then I'll get to you, Lou. And 2 Cents. What do you think?
I can't nod too much, apparently.
Yeah, you need to just stay very, very steady, like you have a bucket of water on your head. So 2 Cents. What do you think about this fight between Charlie Campbell, the man who should have killed your boy Chris Duncan? He's coming for Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan, Charlie Campbell 2 in 2025.
Woo!
And the 6-year layoff of the 36. Almost 37-year-old Alex Reyes, brother of Dominic Reyes.
Dude, what can I say? It's crazy. I did not realize that he's the dude that got knocked out by Mike Perry. I didn't realize this was the same guy. Like, I remember that fight and him getting knocked out and be like, holy shit, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, that dance
Illinois or something. Or I think, I don't even know where. It was in the middle of some weird spot, too.
Dude, and I'm stunned that that's the same dude. I got to go with Campbell. I mean, the Chris Duncan loss is aging kind of nice, dude. Kind of like a nice Cobb Franc. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Campbell. I think he probably knocks him out.
All right. Lou Betya, you completing the Charlie Campbell, or you hot take Alex Reyes?
No, I mean, I'm going to take Campbell here. I will say that I went and watched, the Josh Streaker fight, and he did what he had to do. But I also watched some Josh Streaker stuff, and this guy is awful. So this is not a good win that he had. It's one of those
I like Josh Streaker.
He's not good.
Like him.
You might like him, but he's not. I mean, dude, I like Darren Elkins.
Unconventional. Streaker is unconventional. He's made me a lot of money before.
I mean, you're never betting Reyes in this spot. The in the distance line is minus 300 for Campbell. There's no way I can bet on that with a guy who's had, honestly, I mean, how much cage time has this guy had in the last 2 years? It's not much. So I think I think skill set, obviously Campbell is going to be the better striker, but I don't know. I don't know how you bet this one. So the pick is Campbell. He will, and in the distance is minus 300. Like I said, I don't know how you bet this.
This is why Zhang Li should be on the panel and not 2 cents. Jewish Bettor has to be the wallet.
Fact.
So that is totally fair.
Dude, did you guys see the dance that Mike Perry did after he knocked out Alex Reyes?
That was insane. It was his second best moment till when he came out to Halo. That's always going to be the greatest Mike Perry moment ever. Minus 575 on the first favorite, minus 440 on the second favorite. We're moving on to the next fight, and this is like the most I don't know fight on the card for me, probably, which means that I'm not going to have too much of an interest in it. Tracy Cortez, when she can't wrestle, loses, period. If she can't wrestle her opponent, she loses to most opponents that I think she'd face in the UFC. Jasmine Jasudavicius, whatever, actually has been fighting lately, been fighting much more relevant competition, improving at 34 years old still. Niagara top team, stand up. I could see Tracy using the wrestling and getting a greasy decision. Congratulations if you want to bet the minus 120, I believe is what she's at currently. I think this fight, kind of is just a greasy, low-level women's fight, and probably a split decision for Tracy Cortez because it's Mexico night. So, I'm not betting it, but, I think there's a reason she's a favorite in a spot where I feel like recently Jasmine has earned the favorite nod, and some shenanigans are going to go on. So it's not my smartest breakdown after 2 cents labeled me the brain, but I'll take Tracy Cortez by split decision. Maybe this gets the split decision prop, but I'd rather probably not bet this fight too much. Tracy had a rough year with Ortega. Who knows how she responds to that? I'm not really sure. I know she's always had a pretty good, camp behind her, and her brother is always one of the main people in her corner, and she seems to have a lot of support, so that's always good. She's the younger fighter as well, and Jasmine struggled with wrestling at times, but I think Jasmine's improved a lot more than Tracy, and I don't know. I'm split decision Tracy Cortez still. Makes no sense. I get it. Lou?
So this is going to be one of those fights that no matter how it was lined, you're probably going to just want to side with the dog and get value. That it's a 50-50 fight. I'm of two minds here because I think the way that Jasudavicius goes for takedowns, she's a big body lock person. I don't think that's going to work here against Cortez. I think Jasudavicius is probably the more physical person by nature. I know you brought up Cortez, breakups are a great base for MMA. But
hopefully she passes her medical test this time.
If it stays on the feet, I know neither one has good striking, but I think Jasudavicius has the better optics. She's longer. She seems to throw it more venom. But what's really standing out here to me, if I have to really make a pick, is that I have to go to strength of schedule, and that it's not just that Jasudavicius to me has the best win in Miranda Maverick, but even the Natalia Silva loss, she's the darling of the community right now. And Jasudavicius had great moments against her before Silva just ended up really styling on her. I don't know, man. I like the momentum she has. I think that that's a real thing in fighting, and I'm going to pick her to win here by decision.
Okay, boys. 2 cents. How are you feeling about this?
By the way, the over 2.5, I see in chat, it's I think it's minus 440.
Minus 445.
So, I don't know if
that's horrendous. That's
that's a sharp pick.
Yeah, we believe this fight's going to decision. 2 cents. What do you think about this one?
Why do I always have to be this guy? Because no matter what I say right now, it's going to seem like simping. I am not a Tracy Cortez simp. I am a reformed Tracy Cortez simp, mind you. So this is not that. I'm sorry. I think this is a mismatch. I think Jasudavicius is trash on the feet. I don't think Tracy is anything special, but she is just a much better wrestler. She's a better grappler. I mean, come on, man. She's got to win over fucking Erin Blanchfield. That is the best win that either of them have. I'm not saying that is going to win her the fight. I just think
Erin
stylistically,
Blanchfield like 16 in that fight.
I think stylistically, she's just a better, like more complete product. I'm not a big believer in Jasmine. She's 34, and people act like she's some fucking like spring chicken prospect. I just don't think she's that good. This could be a famous like I look fucking stupid. I got plenty of them under my belt, but I think Tracy's gonna whoop her. I'm not betting it because like she does like
no, man,
look
no.
sketchy, but I think Tracy whoops her.
All right,
gotta,
JP, what do you think?
gotta bet it, dude. If you feel that confidently,
Hell fucking no. Hell, dude, but Jasmine, get the fuck out of here, dude. She lost to fucking didn't she lose to Elise Reed? Nah, man, she ain't beat.
Nah, but yeah, she did lose to Elise Reed, but she had a knee injury in that fight, and it was an egregious split decision. That probably could have went her way. But let's look at her UFC career, just from a straight up standpoint. She had a Dana White's Contender Series versus Julia Pilastri, who we saw last night, got a good win. But in that fight, she was able to expose the physicality where this girl just wasn't able to defend the takedowns either. Wound up on her back for a lot of that fight. Pilastri was having success with the hands. I do agree. Jasmine's striking could look stiff and slow at sometimes, and she doesn't always move her head. She's coming straight forward in the Miranda Maverick fight, and it looks cool. She's going crazy in the third round, throwing punches, but with just a lack of defense. I think Cortez, if she gets on top, could have some success. We just really haven't seen enough of Jasmine off of her back, right? The times Natalia Silva took her down, she was able to get back up. Kay Hansen was able to take her down, which I don't know if that's the best look, but then she sweeps her, gets on top, and gets back to her a dominant position. I just think I don't see Jasmine having any wrestling success here versus Cortez. What I've seen from Cortez, Gato was able to take her down, use some jiu-jitsu, but she does the right things to get back to her feet. So this could just be a striking match, guys. I'd give Cortez the slight edge in wrestling, so I think this line is pretty much accurate. I don't have a hot take on this one whatsoever. I'll go with Cortez. Give me Cortez by decision.
No, all over Cortez to box her up with the FAT. Get it? All right, yeah, -120, -1 even money for Jasmine. Yeah, interesting fight. Very interesting fight at 125 here. Really excited to see this. Twitter's darling, Daniel Lacerda. He is Twitter's darling this week. I'm seeing all these plus money bets on Daniel Lacerda. Daniel Lacerda is going to do the same thing he's done in his first 4 fights. He's going to have a struggle to make 125, maybe make 125. If he does, he's going to be on death's door. He's going to have 2 minutes of gas, 3 minutes of gas. Chairez is a really tough guy, has a really good gas tank. He's going to push the pace as the fight goes on. Yeah, this is just for me, I think a really good opportunity for Edgar Chairez to kind of show out. I think he's got to survive the first 2-3 minutes, but I think after that, it becomes a huge, huge advantage for Chairez. I think that Chairez mixes it up well. I like his ability to finish the fight later in this fight because that's what Lacerda does. And yeah, for me, I'm not trusting Lacerda now. Not after the 4 performances. He showed us who he is. Making weight on, seems to be the biggest issue for him anyways. We'll see if JB, okay, he's good. My bad. Yeah, so I'm going with Chairez. I think that, I don't know, sub or KO, but I think he's going to finish. I just don't see Lacerda surviving the 15 minutes. And Chairez does up the pace as the fight goes on. I think he'll, he looked pretty good against Tatsu Taira too in that first round. So he's not a slow starter either. So I think he can even match with Lacerda. I don't understand the Lacerda love. I really don't get it. Chairez, I get it. This line is rough, but it's correct, I think, in my opinion. So I think Chairez comes out and puts on a really good performance. Honestly, I like a lot of what I've seen out of him on the regional and pro. I get he has 5 losses, but I don't mind it when you go back and watch those. So Lacerda gets loss number 5 in the UFC. Hopefully he makes weight. If he doesn't make weight, I'll be more worried than anything, but either way. I like Chairez a lot in this spot. I think he gets a finish in round 2 or 3. So probably going to bet round 3 because it pays more. Lou.
Yeah, round 2 is like 450 here. So explain to me how a guy who survived against Tatsuro Taira gets this humongous step down in competition against a bum, an absolute bum. And he's only like a 2-1 favorite. Dude, this is a guy who got finished by Francis Figueiredo. Walmart Figgy finished this guy in a minute. So this isn't like even a cardio thing. Walmart Figgy finished this guy in a minute.
Correct.
Victor Altamirano, who I know you love.
Not that much. Not as much as he looked in that fight.
But he is not. But Altamirano is more of like an attritional.
He's not lethal.
He's an attritional. Like his finishes are always the attritional variety.
Yeah, this is a Furio bet all day long.
Looked like Rambo. Jeff Molina, who stinks, who finishes nobody. And that was it, look, it took him to the second round because, of course, it did. Now, the Vergara fight's interesting. Sorry, Mick. The Vergara fight's interesting because, like, it depends on just how you evaluate Vergara. Because it's like Lacerda surprised him within 10 seconds. Like, he hurt him early.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of took him off guard. And then it became like a flurry. Lacerda hit him with a bunch of like 50, 60 shots. And that fight, I would argue that fight could have been stopped. Probably should have been stopped. But it wasn't, and that was the end of it. So my question is, if Lacerda's win condition is round 1, which I think we have enough data points now to say, like, dude, why are you so worried about what I look like, man? You should be more worried about your minus 450 bets you're thinking about, dude, than I'm leaning into a microphone. Jesus, dude.
That sombrero looks like it's fucking hovering above your head. Like, I don't understand how it's attached to the top of your skull right now.
Well, I have like a fucking wire. You seem worried, dude. You seem worried. You're bringing it up. You seem worried. So if Lacerda's win condition is round 1 and Chairez is like tough as shit, who doesn't get finished in round 1 ever, I don't know how Chairez round 2, round 3 is not like. The only thing you're worried about here is that Chairez beats him in round 1. Mm-hmm. So the pick of Chairez, round 2, round 3 props, awesome. I don't know what FanDuel has it at yet. They're kind of lazy on their props this week. DraftKings surprisingly on it, but
yep, once in a while. All right, JB, are you ready to go, or do you want me to go?
Yes, sir. I'm here. I just got the camera off for a few seconds.
You gotta eat, JB.
Yeah, no, I agree with a little bit. I mean, everything of what Lou said. Everything. I think this guy's a glass cannon. He gasses out within 3 minutes of every fight. I think Chairez just has to last 3 minutes of this. He's not getting knocked out in his fights. He's losing decisions. He's getting submitted. But he's shown better submission defense in his last few fights, right? Taira wasn't able to submit him. I think Taira is a way better jiu-jitsu practitioner. Say what he want, how he took Jeff Molina's back. He still wound up falling off. Letting Jeff Molina get on top of him, ground and pound him. Take that. That sounded terrible. But I think this is Chairez all the way, man. I think he gets him out of there in round 2 or round 3. Give me a round 2 or round 3 finish for Edgar Chairez.
Chairez season so far. All right, 2 cents. Do you have a hot take here with Lacerda, like the rest of Twitter?
Hell motherfucking no, dude. My take is cold as fucking ice. I ain't got jack shit on this fight, dude. This is so greasy. Like, I get it, man. Like, I guess, yeah, you can look at like Lacerda or De Silva, whatever the fuck his name is. You can look at his recent losses and be like, is like what's the fuck Chairez really better than all these guys? Like, probably not. But like, dude, as Ron White once said, that boy Lacerda got a lot of quit in him. And he just finds a way to, like, he gets put in a bad spot and he's just like, get me the fuck out of here. Like, I like what you said, Aaron, about Chairez being tough. I honestly think that's what wins him this fight. Like, I could see Lacerda coming out and hurting him early, like he did against CJ. But from what I've seen from Chairez, weathers the storm, and Lacerda, dude, he gets finished every fucking time he loses. So I see no for like Chairez to not do that. Like, he's a tough Mexican dude. I think he just weathers the storm and whoops his ass second or third round.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think Chairez's defense is good too. Like he stays in that shell, and his boxing isn't bad, man. He was piecing up Clayton Carpenter. He was actually hitting Tyra. I thought he dropped him in the first round. I don't know if it was a slip, but man, Chairez could crack too. So I don't rule out round one either.
McKinney won a fight though in his weight class. Noah Lacerda hasn't done that yet. He
did, just not in the UFC.
Well, sure. I was gonna say, when did he win in the UFC that I don't remember?
I mean, he won it. He won it, dude. He had an impressive victory at Mr. Cage 39.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
Which I feel like should be called, for the sake of the show, Senor Cage 39.
Thank you very much, Senor Cage.
Why are we the only two on camera?
Two
cents is a weirdo that works for the government. I
beg your pardon. This has been my dick for years now, sir.
It's a criticism on Jewish Bettor. I just gave
you know what? People need to leave Jewish Bettor alone. He can have private time during the show if he needs it. Everybody just want to leave.
Just hold my whole fucking flow, word for word, bar for bar.
You know what? I run a really tight ship here, Lou. That's why only two of us, and you showed up late. So,
but Jewish Bettor eats 4 times a show. Like,
he's got to. He's our wallet.
He's bulking, Lou.
He's adding mass.
Exactly.
He's cultivating mass.
I'm a hungry Jewish boy.
It's okay. We're all friends here. It's gonna be all right. So we're on to the next fight here. 185. I actually think this is a very good fight here. Interesting fight. Because whoever gets their style going, I think is going to look like the favorite that Roman Kopylov is the current favorite at minus 300 something, right? So it's kind of interesting because Josh Frennd, I think in this spot, if it stays on the feet, if it's a striking battle, he's going to get knocked out at some point in this fight. Just missed weight against Jamie Pickett like a month ago, and he's right back because the UFC's roster, while it's expansive, it seems like it's like 30 fighters at this point who all just fight whenever Dana calls them. So that's what you have a Frennd and Josh Frennd. But if Josh gets the wrestling going, and, Roman's looked less than adequate at times in his UFC career. He has started to improve a lot. He was 1-1 with DiChirico. And it's just like one of these things where I want to trust Roman, and I want to think he's a lock. I'm going to go with that as my pick. I'm a little bit nervous to extend it to much more than the Zhongli, though, which might not make a lot of sense, but it's just, if Frennd gets that grappling going early, it's trouble. But I don't think he's going to. I don't know if he's going to make weight. And I just think Kopylov, while he is 32, he still seems to be improving or at least starting to plateau. So I'm going to go with Kopylov, KO later in the fight, most likely. Let's see. Did I start with you last time, Lou? Let's go with JB, if you can.
I love me some Kopylov. I love me some Kopylov. I think everything he does on the feet is outstanding. And I don't think Frennd is the best wrestler. Like, he gets into shots on people like Dumas, who's completely square, has no takedown defense whatsoever up along the cage. And even Dumas was still able to get back to the feet. Like, what's his submission arsenal? He has that guillotine choke. I think Kopylov knows that. And he's got that rear naked choke on his record in the regional scene. I don't remember the guy's name, but he didn't even have any hooks in. The guy just tapped. It was pretty slick. I mean, he got the rear naked choke still, but I just don't think Kopylov was a complete fish. He didn't get finished by Duraev, even though Duraev was absolutely just in a dominant position, pounding his face in from the mount.
Yep.
I think he still was able to survive. The only time he got submitted, which is his worst look, was versus Carl Roberson in the first fight. So the thing is, I don't think his takedown defense is that bad. It's just when he gets into these positions when people settle on top of him, starts to get a little bit greasy. So that's their only worry here. I actually think he freezes him with the feints. Everything he does on the feet is legitimate. Like, he throws good combos, a good variety of combos. I'll see him throw a body kick, a leg kick to a spinning back fist. That spinning back kick he hit against Puna Soriano was beautiful. I think he butchers Josh Frennd with the body kicks here, and maybe even finishes him the same way with that head kick that he got Claudio Ribeiro with. And if you go back and watch how he set that up, he set him with a feint. He dropped levels and saw that Claudio's right hand went down and didn't move up to block the high kick, and he went back right to that feint the next time, saw the hand drop, high kick, fight's over. I think this guy's setting traps, and he probably gets him out of there in the first round, if not early second. That's my pick on this fight. Body kicks are going to be the key here.
Yeah,
Kopylov.
Fair enough. 2 cents. How you feel about this one?
I feel pretty good. I don't feel good that Lou just lost the sombrero, but whatever. I guess I'll just
his neck is probably hurting.
I guess I'll just make my peace with that. But
my head's somehow not big enough to keep it on my head. Like, what I mean?
Yeah.
Somehow.
I understand.
Leave
not big
me
enough.
alone.
Plus 300.
I guess I understand. Kopylov by KO. At some point, I think he has shown improvements. I'd never thought super duper highly of Frennd. Kopylov has always been someone that's been like, I don't know how he's going to do against like a higher tier of competition, but I think Frennd is a winnable fight, and I think Roman probably finishes him. Round 1, round 2. I don't really know when. I'm not betting it, but I got my pick is Roman by KO.
Yeah, and I don't love to go back to the regional scene at this point since Kopylov's been in the UFC so long, or the Russian scene he was from, but he really did show a lot of promise early on, and I just not really sure what happened in the first couple of UFC fights. Didn't seem like the same fighter, but I think he's starting to figure it out. Minus 345, plus 275 on Frennd. They're asking people to take the shots on dogs who aren't worthy of it, frankly. The 1 month notice I don't like at all.
Do I get to talk about this one?
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Lou.
My question is, what are we capping Frennd on? Because I seriously feel that people that look at this fight are still capping him on a close loss to Fluffy Hernandez. They're not capping him on the weird gore submission. They're not capping him on the Cedrica Dumas fight where he was just has a liability with the grappling, which against Cody, like he at least addressed.
Mm-hmm.
You're definitely not capping him on the Pickett fight. But let's talk about that Pickett fight, because I think that matters because people, you look at this and you're like, if you're giving Frennd any credit, you're like, okay, could this be a binary fight? Kopylov on the feet, Frennd on the mat.
Mm-hmm.
Frennd was losing position routinely against Jamie Pickett. And how many pounds bigger was he?
Yeah.
He weighed in heavy. He's probably 10 pounds heavier easily going in that fight. Mm-hmm. He did nothing. He has no volume on the feet. Kopylov's Russian, right? Mm-hmm. Can we assume he can wrestle a little bit?
He's training with some wrestlers.
Okay. So let's say Frennd can't take him down. He's screwed. Let's say Frennd can take him down. Can he keep him down? I doubt it. I want to bring up one thing that JB said that I think is important here with Kopylov. I know Bisping had orgasms on air last night over Matsumoto. But there's a very important point about how Matsumoto fought that applies to Kopylov. Everything was more than one punch, and it was multiple targets. Mm-hmm. Every single exchange. It was like body shot, leg kick. Mm-hmm. Body shot, headshot, leg kick. Multiple shots. Look at how Kopylov's attacking people now. JB's bringing up the body kicks. He just went on a head kick. He leg kicks. His teep kicks are good. We haven't talked about his punching. This dude has all he throws is great combos from all angles. Dude, he's a lot of fun to watch from a technical standpoint. And I don't know, he's not going to have to hit Frennd with a ton to get him out of there, but he's going to be hitting Frennd from every angle at different points in his body. Frend's going to go for a takedown. He's going to eat a knee.
Yep.
He's going to stay upright. He's going to eat leg kicks. He'll have it figured out. And Alex brought it up in chat. Round 2 KO for Kopylov. It's working. Mm-hmm. It's only plus 400. That's what sucks.
Yep.
But they're killing us on all this shit now.
Mm-hmm.
All these
round 2 drops have gotten killed.
Dude, look, I missed the days of Kyler Phillips round 3 sub at 35-1. I missed those. Now you get guys. It's their round 3s Now we get like Julian Marquez against Darren Wynn in his round 3s plus 550.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man? You can't. Why? So
we're too good. We're too good, Lou.
I think. And then the last thing I'm going to say here is, and you know this is going to hurt me to say this, but I have to, Aaron.
Sure.
Everybody that thinks Fremm's wrestling is so great, well, what's he doing in the gym? He's just defending guillotines.
Oh my God, you're burying Cody Brundage.
Isn't he just defending?
Oh my God, you just buried your friend.
All right, guys, it's time for training.
No loyalty. You just
buried
Cody Brundage. How dare you?
Well, like why?
You like me coming on here and destroying Jillian.
I can't wait till he fights. He fights Malkoon, and I'm like,
oh
yeah. So like, I don't think that's gonna work.
Oh my God,
Cody's just dead to Lou now.
I'm so disgusted,
dude. He's a nice guy. Seriously, he's one of the nicest people.
Mm-hmm.
I've become friends with him. Like,
it's always hard when nice guys get.
And I bet he's like awesome in the gym, and I bet he has a good mind for it, and he's going to be a great trainer one day. I just don't think he should be fighting in the UFC.
No.
I think that it doesn't translate. Like, because this is like 4 fights in a row where it's like you made at least one absurdly crucial mistake in a fight. Like, he could have beaten Olajaychuk. He literally had Olajaychuk down.
All right, we're moving on to the next fight.
I'm just saying. So that's what Fremm's training with.
Man, I never would have thought the number one reason he'd be fading Frennd was because he trains with Cody Brundage.
It's part of it.
it's baked into the ring.
That breaks my cold, dead heart. I'll be honest. That's just sad. All right, let's move on to the next fight. That was one of the saddest breakdowns in this channel's history. I don't believe in love anymore. Lou Betya Godinez versus Elise Reed. Here, I mean, what are we doing? Loopy is one of the most untrustworthy fighters in the UFC. She's so good, but like you don't know who's gonna show up, if she's gonna remember she's a world-class wrestler, if she's gonna forget and use her TRX arms to try to reach her opponent and not have any success. She's not training at Titan in Vancouver for this fight camp either. She's training down in Mexico with Grasso and the crew. So I do like that. Switching up the scenery. She's just got to take down Elise Reed, keep wrestling her, and then beat her up on the ground and make her quit. Will she do that? Probably. I just can't bet it at this price tag, but Loopy Godinez has to just wrestle, keep wrestling, and finish this fight and not fuck around. If she goes to a decision, that is such a red flag in this fight. I don't care if she wins 30-24. You must if you get Reed where you want Reed, which is on the ground, you can finish her. And Loopy should put on a show. Reed was supposed to face Cynthia Calvillo, now faces Loopy, who Loopy went to a split decision with Cynthia Calvillo, a half-retired fighter for, 5 years now? Like, how long has Cynthia Calvillo been ready to be out of the UFC? Since her main event against Jessica I? Like, I don't know, but you can't trust Loopy. You see what she did against Angela Hill. You see what she's done against Jessica Penne. Like, Reed could, just somehow run into it's just, I just can't trust Loopy at minus 455. But Loopy wrestles her, finishes her, I would hope. Let's go with 2 cents.
This feels like deja vu from my Loopy breakdown, or from my Tracy Cortez breakdown. And this looks like a glitch in the Matrix. Like that, it doesn't look like on Tapology like these two should be matched up together. So this is going to be like yet another arrogant breakdown on the favor where I favor the fighter that's favored to win, but I don't bet them. Like, I can't bet Loopy when she's like can't put a stamp on a Cynthia Calvillo fight, like you said, at this point in Cynthia's career. But she's fucking fighting Elise Reed, dude. I'm trying to think of like a bigger ball that you could drop than Loopy losing to Elise. Like, it's probably not going to happen.
Losing to Jessica Penne is a pretty big ball to drop.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I'm not.
Penne has like tricky jiu-jitsu.
And she also beat Penne in that fight, in all fairness.
She did. She was literally throwing the bitch around. Right. But yeah, I got Loopy, but that line is fucking stupid. Like, it's obnoxious. It's like, you have to be an arrogant motherfucker to lay that on Loopy. I am arrogant, but I'm not that much. Like, she's gonna win, but no thank you.
I agree. Lewis.
Okay, so I'm just pulling up this number. I want you to hear me out here on this.
Oh, are you really going to go with Elise Reed?
No, I'm not going to pick against any Mexican in a fight that's going to go to a decision on UFC in this economy, Noche. I will not be doing that. However, I wanted to pull up the stats here for Loopy. I feel like we just assume that every fight with her is going to be like, oh, yeah, she's going to get 8 takedowns, the fight's over. But she had 1 takedown against Dakota, 1. And just said, I'm going to strike with Dakota. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she won. Was it the right idea? No. 0 takedowns against Calvillo. Was the path there? Yes. 1 against Angela Hill, credited, but even didn't really try, and that was a loss. And she had a shit ton against Carnelosi. Okay, great. And a shit ton against Lukbunmi. In fact, if you ran that Lukbunmi fight back right now, how do you line it? Is she 150 tops?
Yeah, I would say around there.
So here's what I'm saying. I would seriously look at Elise Reed plus 3.5. Because let's assume this fight stays on the feet. Because Loopy seems like that's just what she wants to do now. She wants to strike. Well, look at the Elise Reed side. Jinyu Frey wants to strike. She beats her. I get it. It's Jinyu Frey, but she outstruck her. Melissa Martinez outstruck her. Corey McKenna, who was supposed to have grappling, she outstruck her. So here's what I'm saying. If this fight is on the feet for 15 minutes, which I don't think is completely unreasonable, can Elise Reed win 1 round in the striking against Lupe Godinez? She could probably win all 3 rounds in the striking, to be honest. Like, who's Elise Reed losing to? I know we mock her. Sajara Eubanks, that was a short notice fight. That was up a weight class. Like, we can forgive that one, right? Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You could blow that one off. Sam Hughes, who's maybe starting to actually become decent, because at least she fights with such raw aggression and heart and goes for takedowns and knows how to maintain top control. And then Luma Lukbunmi, who all of a sudden is developing a pretty decent grappling game and is fiery. She's losing the people that fight with this crazy aggression. Does Loopy have crazy aggression? I haven't seen it in so many fights. So why isn't Elise Reed live here? If this wasn't, Mexican night, if this was any Fight Night Albuquerque or Fight Night, that's a bad example. Fight Night Peoria, Illinois, I don't know why Elise Reed couldn't win a greasy split decision. But for her to win at least 1 round here, I'd much rather bet her plus 3.5 than ever lay the money line on a parlay. So of all the dogs on this card that I think can actually have a chance, I think people are sleeping on her big time here. If this is a 15-minute striking fight, Loopy never covers minus 400. And from all of Loopy's recent fights, this is a 15-minute striking fight. You're welcome. That's my hot take of the week.
No, I don't hate it. I mean, I'm telling you, when I can find, I am as big of a Loopy fan as you're going to find. I interviewed her back with Fight Bananas right before she got signed with UFC. She's a great person. Very, I really like her, but her fighting is beyond untrustworthy. And at this number, I don't hate the read either, Lou. JB, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I just don't trust Loopy's top control or her jiu-jitsu. She does a lot of things that are questionable in that category. But I do think she could take down Elise Reed kind of whenever the hell she wants in this spot, if she decides to go for it, right? Plus 250, though, that is great odds for plus 3.5. Just for her to win around, because I don't think she's getting finished here. I mean, she armbarred Silvana Gomez Juarez, who's getting armbarred by, everybody basically, right? She was supposed, except Na Liang, but that's neither here nor there. I think, Loopy's going to be able to get her down here. I'm going to probably take her by decision, but I don't mind your plus 3.5 look, and wouldn't be shocked if a women's MMA underdog comes through in this spot.
This might be the week where I try out a few of the spreads. I haven't done a lot of spread betting, but there's a few spreads I do like on this card.
I really just don't see Loopy finishing her with any jiu-jitsu. I think, ground and pound possibly, but she might not wrestle at all, like Lou said, so can't trust her at that price. Not me.
Yep.
I'm locking it. I'm locking it in right now, dude.
In this economy, right?
Yeah, that's a great +3.5. I love it. I think that people are getting blinded by this money line and forgetting the recent performances. So -440 +340 on Elise. I'm gonna get on that +3.5 as well. To the main event. I know it's not the main event, but it's a reason that I am watching this fight card. It is UFC Fernando Padilla. It is the UFC Fernando Padilla show. We nailed him in the first fight against Joey Rosa, and it's hilarious how after an upset win, sometimes all of a sudden everybody's like, yeah, but he beat Joey Rosa, and Joey Rosa's terrible, and he's been knocked out all these times. That is all true. What Fernando Padilla did in that fight, I think showed a lot of improvement, and I don't even think showed a microcosm of the amount of improvement he's really made in those 2 years off when he was held out because of visa issues. Again, he's still 26 years old. He's working really hard. I know he's spent a lot of this camp in Colorado, training at elevation, also in California, obviously, with Team Oyama. I think this kid is the real deal. I think he's going to show more aspects of his game in this fight than his previous fight. And I think several of his losses have came to guys who really pressure, move forward, and put on a good amount of pressure and volume, add in the wrestling. I could see Kyle trying to make that approach to this game plan. I think Fernando has really improved and learned from his losses, learned from some of those split decisions. And I think in this fight, it shows off the grappling. If Kyle does get him down, which I'm not sure he does, Fernando has a very good bottom game for one. And I don't think he's going to just play jiu-jitsu the entire time he's down there and lose all the minutes either. I think he could sweep him. I do think he could have success in the wrestling himself. I think he ends up tagging him and putting him down with a sub. I do think the submission for Fernando Padilla is the play for me this week, along with the inside the distance. I think this fight is getting finished either way. And I think Fernando Padilla puts on another show and gets that step up after this one. So this is a Fernando Padilla channel. Fernando is a friend of mine. Fernando literally is invited to my wedding. Like, I'm not going to hide. I've been talking to him for years and years. He's a good friend of mine. And I've picked against my friends before. And if I felt this was a spot, maybe there will be that spot coming up if he really gets way too big of a step up after. But I think he puts on a highlight performance. I think he clubs and subs Mr. Kyle Nelson or catches his neck on a lazy takedown entry in round 2 or 3. I could see Kyle having some success early, maybe winning the first round even. So maybe a live bet on Fernando will happen as well. Anytime I can get plus money on Fernando, I like to bet him in that way. So, if they overreact and I can get plus money, this kid's not going anywhere. And I think that we've seen what we have on Kyle Nelson, 6-year age difference. There's a significant reach difference. The range, I think, could be a key as well. Fernando's ready for this fight, man. And I can't wait to see him on Saturday get that submission win. Fernando by submission. JB.
Yeah, you already know I'm on Nelson, man. I'm sorry. I know that's your boy, but I'm just playing. But here's my thing. So I'll tell you the reason why I would look towards the Nelson side. And I kind of believe you because you do know him so well. Like, I don't believe you're too overly biased, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you have some type of like bias, right? I have to go based off of what I see on the film, right? And what I see on the film, it's old film, so you can't trust that. You have to trust that Fernando Padilla has probably improved. But I will say one thing. I understand, especially at this age. Like, you're 24, 25, 26.
He only had 2 years with that visa issue where he didn't have injuries and he was still at Team Oyama, training, getting fighters prepared. And he prepares with Colin Oyama. He's not with the B team over there. Colin Oyama really likes this kid.
Yeah, and that age you improve. Like, you're a sponge, basically. So the amount of technique you absorb. But you did say he does have a good bottom game, and that's the only thing I'm worried a little bit about because he plays that 10th planet style, right? And we've seen guys play that style and get stuffed before, get their guard passed, and it doesn't tend to have the highest percentage of finishes in the UFC. Sure, he's gotten triangle chokes on guys like Minner, and he's got some good finishes. I think that meat hook to the triangle, what he does is he'll go right to the meat hook right away, which is basically from rubber guard, you go to mission control, you get that meat hook, and then he'll control the wrist and go for a triangle.
Yep.
I mean, it still works at the highest level. If Nelson's able to pass the guard off of that submission attempt, I could see Nelson getting on top and grinding some of these positions out. I like the leg rides that he goes for when he gets to the back, like he did versus Doo Ho Choi. I thought Doo Ho Choi showed real urgency to get back to his feet.
Mm-hmm.
Padilla, I've seen taken down in his regional scene fights and just play jiu-jitsu. So that's the only thing I don't trust on Padilla. And Kyle Nelson might not have the best striking. He's not the cleanest. He's not the quickest, but he's got a sharp defense. He stays behind that shell. And he has power. We've seen him like hurt guys. It's a little bit shocking because they see this slow, stiff man, and then he hits them, and it's like, oh shit, this is a fight. And he did go to split decision with Nate Richardson. It's not like,
that was a questionable split. That was a
I
real.
understand, but he's still going back and forth in the striking. I think if Nelson just mixes in the grappling, holds some top position, he's a live underdog. I'm not going betting Kyle Nelson, but I would maybe even look like Lou said before to the 3.5. I could see Nelson winning a round with wrestling, but you got to worry that he gets finished, right?
Yeah,
but
there's way too much finishing upside for Fernando, I feel like.
For sure. I just don't know if he's a crazy power puncher or we've also – because Rosas is a little bit chinny. That's the obvious. But we also seen Kyle Nelson get submitted, if I'm not mistaken, by Matt Sales. So the big worry, I could see Padilla submitting him from the bottom. It's totally possible. But there's also a world where I see Nelson winning top position time and getting this fight done. It's possible.
Yeah, totally fair. And I'm not
boo me, people.
I'm not oblivious to that. It's all good.
I'm just playing.
Yeah, boo, JB, I hate you. No, I was playing.
Boo!
Furio, we cashed that plus 225 inside the distance.
Well, yeah, all he had to do is hit him once.
I mean, he hit him like 75 times in like 2 minutes. But like the last thing, and I'll stop talking about Fernando and I'll let the rest of the panel get to this. I've talked to a decent amount of fighters in the last 5 years, and I have not talked to anybody with a better like attitude and I feel mental preparation than Fernando Padilla. Not once during the 2 years off when he was getting fucked by the visa system did he complain about it. Did he feel bad for himself? He was in pretty much the lowest of the lows, and it ends up being one of the best things, I think, because he can correct a lot of the issues JB noticed on the regional scene. It slowed him down and allowed him to develop. But I mean, this kid's he's the real deal, man. I think I really would like to see him make a run, but and I do think he's getting pretty decent matchups for the beginning of his UFC career here. I don't think Kyle Nelson is too high of a level. I do think that Doo Ho Choi fight was impressive, even though it was a draw. I do think he showed some tools that could use here. So fair enough. End of my Padilla rant. 2 cents.
Well, let me just start another one. Pick up right where you left off there, brother. So yeah, man, obviously I'm on Fernando Padilla myself. I understand stylistically how Kyle Nelson could potentially give him some issues. But the problem is, and you guys have mentioned it already, is like Fernando's going to have a speed advantage here. He's got a 5-inch reach advantage. Yes, I don't like how he played jiu-jitsu sometimes on the regional scene, but I do think, like Aaron said, that 2 years, dude, that's just from an age point of view, that's probably like the best 2 years he could have taken off, because now he's 26, which means he's still young, but he's coming into his prime, like right now. Like this is where, that's the age, 26, 27, 28, is where your physicality and the experience start to sync up and like synergize. So I think this is like, that was like like Aaron said, like, dude, that was such a blessing in disguise for him. So as far as the fight, yeah, on the feet, I think, like I said, Fernando's going to be faster. He's got the reach advantage. I think he's just the better striker overall. You look at the Erosa fight, like Erosa, you can call him a jobber, you can call him a glass cannon. You wouldn't necessarily be wrong, but like he's a high-end jobber if he is one. And like the cannon is real, dude. Like Erosa has some good wins. And like if you're a good fighter, that's what you do to Julian Erosa. You put him away early. And that's exactly what Fernando did. I actually think Julian's more dangerous on the feet than Kyle Nelson is. I know Nelson hits hard, but like Erosa's a motherfucker offensively. So like I think this is kind of an easier matchup for Fernando a little bit. Like if he if he gets caught under Nelson and he can't get up, it's not going to be good. But I'm sorry, man. I think that even if he doesn't get the submission off his back, I think he'll more than likely use it to get sweeps or to like get himself back to his feet. I do really like that he's getting the like one-on-one attention from Colin Oyama. You look at what he did with Carlos Esparza. Like, I just think that like getting that kind of attention in the stage that he's in, I think it's like the best thing for him. Like Aaron said, seems dialed in and focused. Yeah, I'm betting Fernando this week. I've got him in a 2-piece, and when Pariah MGM fucking drops the props, I will be betting Fernando inside the distance. Fernando Padilla fight week. Viva la Mexico. Let's fucking go, baby.
See, Lou Betya.
So, first of all, on this very show, I picked Kyle Nelson to beat Blake Builder. I took the money line on him.
Yep, you did.
Because Blake Builder isn't good.
Horrible.
But the UFC hates Kyle Nelson. They gave him Billy Q, and Billy Q did Billy Q things. Then they gave him Jai Herbert because we all assumed that Jai Herbert would just because Jai Herbert needed a get-right fight. And everybody assumed Jai Herbert would have some violence here. It'd be great. What the fuck is he doing below me right now? What is he doing?
It doesn't matter.
Get a computer, bro. Buy a computer with all your winnings, man.
He's literally putting
making a sandwich on us.
JB
Weird, man.
JB mukbang.
He's literally eating on. What is he doing?
I'm just sick of my channel being taken
keep JB, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. I love how worked up Lou is getting.
He literally has a bagel.
He has a bagel. Oh my god!
And it looks like a grocery store bought bagel.
Yeah, that's like a giant bagel. That's not like yeah, dude. It's a roll. It's a roll, bro.
That thing wasn't even boiled before you baked it. You call these bagels?
Put some locks on mine, JB.
He's got the locks. He's got the locks. What's JB eating?
I got the locks and I got the locks. Let's go.
Look at everything about this.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
All right, just whatever.
UFC Jerusalem is coming.
So they tried to give Herbert. I'm lost here. They tried to give Herbert a setup fight, and it turned out Herbert just isn't good. Okay. Then they tried to give Dooho Choi a setup fight in Asia, and it turns out Choi just isn't that good. They tried to give Builder a nice win, and it turns out he's not that good. So here's my question, Aaron. Is Padilla not that good?
Yeah.
Or is Kyle Nelson getting weird variants to pull? I know he lost to Herbert, but he survived. They're giving Nelson matchups specifically set up for him to die. So is this not a matchup where he's being set up to die at UFC Noche?
Yes.
I'll give Nelson credit. He's showing some pretty decent durability. He's also shown an ability to kind of stay out of trouble, make fights boring, cage push. It's not like he has some dynamic offense.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kind of winning minutes. And the one thing I worry about here is Padilla's the kind of guy you could probably win minutes against because Padilla's a moment winner. He's an explosive, kind of fighter. But I kind of think Padilla just goes to jail for murdering Kyle Nelson.
That's my plan.
You like the submission. I kind of think I don't even know if it hits the ground, dude. I think honestly just
knocks him out,
blasts him into remember the game Ring King on Nintendo? You know, you could hit the guy out of the ring.
Yep.
I think that's what he does. He just bang. And
from all this talk about Kyle Nelson's wrestling in this breakdown, he is prime Usman according to this breakdown. We've talked about Kyle Nelson's wrestling like it is the most watch out if he gets that Canadian national wrestling going.
Dude, he has good wrestling Alir Latifi has good wrestling. Where it's oh my God, he had 3 minutes and 58 seconds of control time and they never hit the mat.
Right.
He just threw him against the cage and did nothing.
Right.
And now that I'm thinking about it, that's just one more thing I need to bring up here. Sure. With these new rules, with their predilection to get guys off the cage quicker, or my suggestion that
true.
they electrify the cage
Right.
to avoid this kind of shit, like the
Yeah.
Budka fight. Like, I wonder if Nelson's going to have the ability, like, because it's not just that they like stop it. You're seeing that the leash gets shorter and shorter as the fight goes on.
Very true.
If Nelson can only be against the cage for like 20 seconds, like, dude, he doesn't want to be at distance with this guy. So
No.
I'm playing Padilla. I already have a bet on Padilla in the distance. So
me too. It's why I'm covering the distance. I
don't want to play the method, but
yeah, I'm taking Sean the sub too, just because I'm hoping it will be a decent number. But yeah, I love the line for Padilla here. Minus 250, I think is a great line. This is a parlayable line for sure. And yeah, I'm very, very excited for Saturday night. Go Fernando Padilla. And he's training right now, which is why he's not in the chat. All right, this is
he probably shouldn't be in the chat for his own fight week, in all fairness.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
there are rules about this kind of thing.
It's
Darius Flowers doesn't care about those rules.
Evident, just more evidence to Padilla's focus.
Yep.
Said you could pull like all his gambling tweets.
Yeah,
so like clearly they're like, hey assholes.
No. Yeah, and just the last thing with Padilla, he has been preparing with the weight cut for several weeks now. And he's doing it in a very effective way as well. So like he's a big dude at 145. So
I like this, bro. I feel like this is like inside info. Shit, bro. I'm not gonna bet Nelson, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean
not anymore.
It's all from the horse's mouth, that's for sure. But either way, we're on to the next fight here. This is, to me, one of the shots I've considered taking on the dog. I don't trust Zellhuber whatsoever. And I really could see Christos Giagos catching him one or two times in the first couple rounds because Zellhuber's kind of just reaching out at range, feeling out, getting warned for like fingers being extended and not throwing any strikes. But oh man, and Padilla sub's only 400. They know. I hope Zellhuber commits murder. I haven't seen the murder yet, and you know, Christos I think is very underrated. Christos has fought the way better competition. He won the first round against Charles Oliveira. I'm going to hold on to that fight for as long as I can because I'm telling you, he looked really good in that spot. And I get he's had some bad moments against guys like Thiago Moises. I just don't trust Zellhuber as far as I can throw him. And I do think that Christos Giagos is going to be the more aggressive guy. And I could see him catching Daniel a couple times in each round, winning a 29-28 kind of decision or finishing him. But either way, I don't trust Zellhuber at all. I don't want anything to do with him. I'm considering betting Christos Giagos at plus 230. Please tell me why this is the wrong call.
Can I do it?
Sure.
I'll tell you why. I won't bet Kyle Nelson if you don't bet Christos Giagos.
Deal.
Nah, but I think the straight punches is Zellhuber, bro. I really do. I think the straight punches are going to put him down. I've seen him getting hit by Sean Soriano, who's not the best level of competition. No. Only reason I think he got away with beating Carlton Minus because the dude can't defend a takedown for jack shit. Right. I've already seen Zellhuber has all the right options when it comes to takedown defenses versus Trey Ogden, even in his last fight versus Venata. And when he got taken down, he's getting right back to his feet. So I think he has a good coach as well. He's with Extreme Couture out there with Eric Nixick. Just saw that guy win a world championship. And it's a hometown thing. It's right in Vegas. So he's right there. A Mexico card. Same reason I shouldn't bet Kyle Nelson. I don't think you should bet Giagos. I think he actually put them to sleep. He had Venata hurt at some points. I know he didn't finish him necessarily, but I just think Giagos is one of those dudes who's just going to rush in for that first round. And after that, he gets kind of tired. And I think that's when Zellhuber is going to take over.
Okay, fine. I'm totally fine not betting Christos Giagos. And I'm more fine with you not betting Kyle Nelson. 2 cents.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
L'Chaim.
Yeah, kind of like fuck this fight. Because yeah, man, Zellhuber, dude, I cannot bet him as the favorite at chalk because
minus 300.
No, thank you. As far as the breakdown of the fight, I don't really know what the fuck I'm getting from Zellhuber. I get that he looked better after his first fight, and I understand the octagon jitters and all that, But, dude, I'll tell you what, if he comes out of the gate slow and stiff, man, he might get fucking blasted out of there by Christos Giagos. I think Christos Giagos is one of those guys, and this is like, everybody already knows this if you're like a hardcore fan or like a capper. He's kind of a motherfucker in the first round. Like JB said, he gets tired, and so, yeah, I'm not going to bet Giagos because I feel like Zellhuber's cardio might be a little better and he'll just work at a steadier clip, whereas like Giagos is going to fucking mash the gas in the first and then kind of trail off. But I'm not betting Zellhuber. There's no fucking way. Like, Giagos has fought a much higher level competition and he continues to look dangerous early. So no thank you. But yeah, I'm too much of a pussy to bet Giagos. I think it's dogger pass though, but yeah, I'm going to pick Zellhuber.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will be on the tall, slim Mexican parlay, and
my nuts just won't drop on this one. I'll just pick Zellhuber.
Yeah, fair enough. Giagos Island, Lou.
Well, I'm never betting Zellhuber.
Mm-hmm.
So is beating Lando Venata? Like, are we like there? Was anybody like, that's what we thought this kid was? That's a perform. Like, look. Talia Santos, right? She lost her first fight in the UFC. She had that debut jitters. Like, we've seen it before, right?
Sure.
Okay. And he had that against Ogden. The lack of volume. Ogden didn't win more than Zellhuber lost that fight. Was he really dominant against Lando? Against Lando Venata. Yeah, he had him hurt. But, like, this is like a touted prospect who everybody loves. I wasn't blown away by him in that fight.
I agree.
Okay. You mentioned strength of schedule for Giagos. Yeah, dude. This dude's like, look, Moises blew him out. How did he blow him out? Took him down, subbed them.
Yep.
Okay. Zellhuber doing that here? I don't think so.
Can Zellhuber win one round against Charles Oliveira? I don't think so.
I mean, like, I'm just looking at, like, the guys, like, Sarukian blasted Giagos. Okay. We are talking about top 5, top 10 guys in the UFC.
Yep.
Well, how do we rate Zellhuber? Like, is his striking good? Yes. JB brought up something that, like, my biggest concern is Giagos' cardio. Like, and that's, like, where I get a little. What I find very telling here is that the under 2.5 is minus. In that Zellhuber really hasn't shown finishing equity in 2 fights. And Giagos. So when the under is slated toward the underdog, like the underdog's win and lose equity, I find that really interesting. We don't see that too often. That's something I look for when I bet.
Yeah.
And so they're assuming this line tells me Giagos 1 or Zellhuber 2-3. If you really want to bet this fight and you like Zellhuber, live bet him. Like, that's the best way I could tell you. Because I think Giagos wins round 1.
I like that, yeah.
At worst, I think he wins round 1 at a 50% clip, if not more. And he knows how to come out hot. And he has experience. So, and the last thing I'm going to say, does Zellhuber have anything in his arsenal that Giagos hasn't seen in his career? Whether or not Giagos can stop it is a different question. But is Zellhuber some, like, dynamic kicker that Giagos has never seen? Does he have punches from angles where he's like some offensive? Like, no, he's just a decent prospect. So I'm never betting, and fuck it, dude. I'm going to pick Giagos with you, man.
Fair enough.
But I'm not betting this fight. My advice to people betting it is live bet Zellhuber and get fucking minus 130 after 1, minus 120. Because he has finishing equity. Zellhuber certainly does have finishing equity based on Giagos and his cardio.
Right.
And if you like Giagos, round 1/round 2 is probably all right. It's a Mexican card, dude. You can't bet Giagos by decision here.
Oh, do you guys think Giagos tries to wrestle here? And one thing I did notice on film, like the last thing I forgot to say. Yeah. Like Cormier pointed out, when Giagos goes to shoot, he only shoots from the southpaw position. Like, that could be risky, especially if Zellhuber takes that read.
To
figures out.
me, Giagos is more like he just feels like more of a tough guy. I don't really see him wrestling unless he gets hurt. That's just me.
Yeah, this is one I'm mostly going to stay away from. I'm not Ben Zellhuber in any situation. Raul Rosas my at 750. He's facing the guy who Kai Kara France punched like 700 times in 30 seconds on The Ultimate Fighter. If Terrence Mitchell lands a lucky strike, congratulations. Like, if Rosa gasses out, congratulations. After 5 minutes, again, congratulations. But I assume Rosa wins this fight, and hopefully he just finishes him quickly. Not betting $1 on this one. Minus 750. Go fuck yourself. Let's start with Lou. It's been a while since Lou started.
That's good because I want to have a cigarette. I don't know why I said smigarette
Good.
here.
Smigarette.
Rosas round 1 sub is plus 108 on my book. I already bet it. I feel like there's a lot of value here because if Cameron Simon can sub you before he gets a point deduction, you are like the fucking.
Didn't he TKO him though?
Pounded him.
All right.
It was a TKO.
If Simon can finish you before he gets a point deduction, you suck. Like, you are the fucking worst. Because Simon is like the human. No, it's plus 108 on my book, dude. It's plus 108 on. Well, it was 2 hours ago. I'll give you a square. I'll give you 3 squares where I'm going. I mean, what like? Does this fight end any other way than?
What? How can
Aaron,
you not KO him?
Hold on, Aaron. Do I have your permission to be awful?
Yes.
How does this fight? Can he KO him, JB? No, because he's going to submit him.
Why can't he KO him? If
he's going to
Cameron
take him down and
Simon,
choke him out in 9 seconds. That's why.
That's a good argument.
That's why, dude. I'd be shocked if he lands 4 strikes.
What if Terrence Mitchell was like my best buddy, like Fernando Padilla?
So
what if I was just like, I'm a big Terrence Mitchell friend?
I'm gonna channel my good friend. Magic MMA here.
Oh God!
And say that Rosas gets a round 1 sub and then gets on the mic afterwards and says, blah, 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 blah.
Yabba dabba do.
I did say I had your permission to be terrible.
No, you're fucking.
I feel like Conan O'Brien doing like the lip, like when it was just the mouth moving, like. Yep.
Thank you, Lou. Go have a cigarette.
Thank
you, JB.
Yeah, dude, I think Rosas by KO actually has some value to it, man. We've seen Cameron Simon flatten him out, get the ground and pound. I don't see how that's not possible here for Raul Rosas. If he's not able to get the sub early, just posture up and ground and pound. And we've seen it happen time and time again. But yeah, I think sub is more likely the path.
Sure.
I just don't want to put all my eggs in one basket on a round 1 sub prop when I think the TKO is still live.
Rosa does have 1 TKO over an 0-2 opponent. So he is battle tested, as we all know. And if you're worried, real good fighter.
And if you're worried about the cardio, just watch the fight with Mitchell versus Simon. He's gassed out faster than Rosas, and I think
is this Rosas' toughest test besides C-Rod?
Absolutely. Unless you're
that's how bad it is.
No, I would say Mando Gutierrez is
Mando versus Terrence in a Titan FC by next year. Let's see it.
Oh Lord.
Just my 2 cents.
I got nothing, dude. I can't follow all that.
That's
Tasmanian Devil by submission.
Yep. All right. That's enough. Minus 750, whatever Terrence Mitchell is. Congratulations.
Hold on. Can I say one more thing in response to JB here now that he's not got his mouth.
What's up, man? What's up?
Talking about this KO shit. I just want to mention, because who does Rosas' hype compare to is Bo Nichols in terms of a guy who's like a submission grab. No. In terms of a guy coming in the UFC that's inexperienced that has
got 2 cents on muting himself.
In terms of a guy coming in the UFC,
trying to hold back the laugh.
Here's the difference. Rosas is like a guy who has good grappling, but really doesn't have like credentials. So he needs a get right win. I just assume I don't know how the game plan isn't take him down and choke him out immediately. That's why I don't like the KO. I'm stating my case for why I don't love the KO here.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. I agree with all those points for sure. I'm gonna pass on this one, man.
Raul
I'm
Nichols
passing.
is coming out to UFC Noche, everybody. You heard it here first. Raul Nichols.
Can I know what Just My 2 cents was gonna say?
I think he just hummed like Marge.
I was just like trying to hold back laughter, and I just wanted everyone to share that.
Senor Nickel.
Senor Nickel.
Oh, you know what? Then he's like Raul Pennies.
You've got to keep that going, dude. If keep this like Rosas is like better than like specifically.
Rosas is better than Bo Nichols. As a matter of fact,
just keep towing the Rosas Jr. is a better wrestler than Bo Nickel line. And just see where
Rosa would out wrestle.
I didn't say he was a better wrestler than Bo. Dude, I'm Bo Nickel. Dude, he's like my favorite guy in the UFC. Bo Nickel.
I'm just fucking.
Yeah, Cody Brundage was at one point.
What's that thing from a Practical Joker? Like Abe Lincoln.
Is JB taking a piss now? What's
they bring up Abe Lincoln's and they're like, no, it's a rap.
Are we in his bathroom? Are we in Jewish Bettor's bathroom now? What is happening?
Buy this. How do you win? Is he peeing? How do you win?
Dude, I'm Jewish. I'm the Jew of all Jews, dude. Like my friends will ask me, like, why don't you have an Xbox headset? And it's because like I just use my phone and I use the Xbox app because I don't want to buy a headset.
Of course, someone buy JB a headset. My
right.
God. All right. Next fight here. Kevin Holland, Jack Della, Maddalena. The last two fights of the night, I think, are two of the best fights on the card, honestly. This is a really good fight, very interesting fight. Jack obviously getting buried for his last performance. That was no split decision. He won that fight. That third round was brutal as well. The fight that this is most similar to would be the Randy Brown fight. I mean, he did catch Randy Brown and then sink in a one hook rear naked choke to beat Randy Brown. Like, that's just not great, pal. I think that Kevin Holland is going to be a step too far for Mr. Jack Della Maddalena. I do think that Kevin Holland might, as crazy as it sounds, get the wrestling going in this fight, because I do think on the feet it's very close as well. But I think on the feet, Kevin should still be able to hang in there. And I think it could be a very close fight if it's predominantly on the feet. But obviously you're exposing yourself to Jack's biggest strengths, and a little bit worried about the power of Jack versus Kevin. But I just think that Kevin is a step too far for Jack. I think that Jack's had a pretty nice setup so far to his UFC career. The Contender Series fight with Lusa was, a pretty good showing by him and probably one of his toughest tests. But I don't know. I like Kevin Holland, man. He has just been fighting and beating up like old, soon-to-be retired men, and he got beat to bricks against Wonderboy Thompson, which I was all over Wonderboy. I think Kevin is going to respect the power a lot more of Jack, and as a result, I think it's going to cause him to fight a lot more intelligently and not just like against Wonderboy. He just wasn't worried about being knocked out, so he didn't fight intelligently and let Wonderboy completely just divulge him. Definitely not a bathroom. Oh, well, it looks like I don't know Jewish Bettor's house. Sorry, Noah.
It's not the bathroom. My phone charger. I got to get a new phone charger. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that's expensive. So I like Kevin Holland in this spot. Leave Jewish Bettor alone, Lou.
I like the POV.
It's fine. It's different.
I tell you what I don't like is the lack of that fucking sombrero. It's kind of driving me nuts, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, Holland's going to look a lot bigger. I agree. Holland's season. Yeah, I think Holland ended up getting it done. I don't know if it's by KO or sub, but I think I like the inside the distance for Kevin Holland in this spot. And it's Kevin Holland's season. Kevin Holland is in the Zhongli. I'll just let you know that right now. He is one of the dogs in the Zhongli. So again, I just think Kevin's put a much better level of competition. I think he's looking pretty sharp lately. It concerns me he's beating 35 and 36-year-old retirees basically, and then lost to a 40-year-old. But what are you gonna do? I think he's gets it right. And let's go with submission. Let's go with submission round number 2. What is it? It's on JB.
Awesome, dude. Like, cause I have to like lean over to put my face in the camera.
It's
I hope that's awful. I hope that's fine with
How's
Mr.
your dump going?
Yeah, it's fine with our producer Lou.
I hope that's fine with Mr. Lou Betya, man. Like, you can't get nothing by this guy. He doesn't wear the sombrero the whole time.
Criticizes your bagels.
Boo-hoo, your neck hurts. Leave it on. This is 1 week and 1 week only, man. Come on.
How do you think we feel with the yarmulkes every week?
Right, man.
Dude, I'm so hungry right now, but like I guess I can wait till the next fight. Can you?
No. I'm a diabetic,
He
bro.
has no money. He eats 9 meals a day.
Yeah, dog.
The only person that eats that many meals is the Flash.
What do you think?
No, in all seriousness, though, man,
Fucking
Kevin
Paul,
Holland, he's a nice mensch. I think he's got a long reach advantage. That 8-inch reach advantage is going to come to play here, and I'm going to tell you why. You got to be able to close the distance if you're Jack Della Maddalena to land those body shots and land those power shots. And Kevin Holland has such a good understanding of the range. And that right cross is a hell of a weapon for him. I think he could put Jack Della Maddalena's lights out with that right hand, and he's going to hit him with it all night. Pow, right in the kisser.
Oh, are we on a unanimous Kevin Holland? I know we're only
yes, I am. And in all seriousness, I don't think he's going to be able to back him up like he's done these other opponents.
Great.
Kevin Holland's striking defense is really good, man. He blocks off the elbow. He keeps a nice tight, high guard. And I think this is going to be a tough test for Jack Della Maddalena. This is a complete dog or pass for me. Kevin Holland actually is one of my favorite bets this week. I'm going to be putting some schmeckles on him, baby. How do you like that, Lou Betya? How do you like that?
I love that breakdown. This is one of the lines that when I made the line before looking at the lines, I was shocked by who the favorite was. And then I fully expected it to flip eventually, and it's gone the other way. I don't understand. 2 cents, what's your thoughts on this one? You're the only one I'm not sure if it's on Holland Island here.
Well, let me cast any doubt asunder right now. Let me complete Voltron, form the last piece. It's a unanimous Kevin Holland panel, and let me tell you why. It's actually a combination of everything y'all said. But pretty much it comes down to this. Beasting, 25-8. This is a levels fight. I know I was kind of like
worst nickname ever.
Talking about, and it just, I don't know whether it's a good or a bad thing that he has to get brought up so much, but he just has to be. Like, every time I think of levels, I just see Corey Anderson's face screaming in the camera, there's levels to this. And I mean, there is. Like, who's a better fighter that Jack Della Maddalena has fought?
Nobody.
Fucking nobody. And like, this is going to be like JB was saying, Kevin Holland is really nice off the back foot. That counter right hand is going to be there all fucking day. Jack Della Maddalena, he is a good boxer, but his defensive style is like, he can move his head. I've seen him move his head, but it's mostly like he likes to parry and like look to throw his own counters. Like, he's a hittable dude. That nose ain't mashed up for no reason, boys. Like, the motherfucker's clearly had his nose broken several times. He's actually been knocked out before by some complete fucking nobody. People don't point that out. Jack Della Maddalena has been finished twice by absolute nobodies. Now, those were his first 2 fights, but like, no one that he's fought is going to have the physicality that Kevin Holland will. No one's had the reach advantage. No one's had the striking skill or the speed or the reflexes or like, just the experience. Like, Kevin Holland loses to like huge grapplers and fucking Wonder Boy. That is not the way Jack Della Maddalena fights. Jack Della Maddalena marches forward, stays in your face, and boxes. That is a recipe for a Kevin Holland knockout or a club and sub. Kevin Holland all fucking day. He is the other half of my 2-piece. It's one of my favorite bets this week. Holland and Padilla. I think it's like plus 201. I fucking love it to death. Let's fucking go. Trailblazer. Kev's going to smoke him.
Love it. Lou.
I'm on Holland, but what I like about being on a panel is I can attack this breakdown from a little different perspective.
Right.
But we've talked about how great Holland is. Let me talk from the JDM side. I always wondered, what does the JDM decision win look like? Because Holland's durability is crazy good. Look, and like, he got finished by Wonder Boy, and Wonder Boy's not a big finisher. Motherfucker broke his like forearm immediately. And like the doctor, he's like, dude, I'm good. Like, let's go. This is a 3-round fight.
Right.
So what does JDM win by? Round 1 finish. So let's say he can't get a round 1 finish against Holland because I don't know how he does get a round 1 finish against Holland. As JB mentioned, with an enormous reach advantage here, or as Liam likes to say, anthropomorphic advantages.
Yes.
8 inches. 8 inches.
Out the wazoo, because Liam's like a nice young Christian boy. I would say out the fucking ass. He has all these advantages. So how does JDM win? What does a JDM decision win look like? Oh, that's right. He gets dominated the first round by a guy who's a massive underdog who took the fight on 32 minutes notice.
Yep. And
was competitive.
Right.
Like, they're like, man, JDM's takedown defense looks so, when Bisping's good at 2 things, by the way, drinking and drunk commentary. That's all he's good at. They're like, man, his takedown defense looks so good as this fight's gone on. Dude, Hafez was shooting from 38 feet out and had no energy. I could have stopped those takedowns. Yep. And I have no takedown defense.
Agreed.
Because I'm 90.
91.
No, that's November.
Sorry.
So again, if a JDM typical win condition is early, which is never happening here, unless Holland like slips and falls, like meme finish. I don't know how JDM wins the decision, because Holland, look, will Holland go to the grappling? People assume he won't. Jesus Christ.
We're almost done. We got like 5 minutes because I do have a
Can we
just let you guys know I got like a 5-minute out here,
okay.
So I'm sorry.
The last thing I'm going to say, people assume because Holland didn't grapple against Wonder Boy that he's stupid and he won't. If they had an agreement, despite us not thinking it makes sense, if he had an agreement, he was a man of his word, didn't go to the takedowns, it doesn't mean he won't here.
Right.
So that's in his back pocket, reach advantage. Right. Let's go. Holland, I have 3 units on him. It was the first bet I put in.
Holland plus 130 right now.
I got him at 136. I beat the market by
nicely
6
done.
cents, which 2 of you should care about. 6 cents is a lot.
Yeah, CLV.
That's 3 of your co-hosts.
3 of just my 2 cents. All right, we're gonna go through the main event a little bit quicker here, just because I literally have to go in 5 minutes or less here. But it's been a really good breakdown. I appreciate you guys. Lou, come join us for non-Mexican cards. You add to the panel significantly. Alexa Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko. I rewatched this fight right before the breakdown, and it does look like Valentina is starting to get too slow for the 125 division. It does look like there was a little bit of a speed issue. You saw Grasso catch her with some real slick combos, which people did expect. If there was going to be a competitive part of the fight, that would be where Grasso would have success. The southpaw stance obviously threw off Valentina very much. I'll be interested to see her adjustments. Valentina fights every 6 months. She's a machine. She fights every 6 months. It's just what she does. 6 months are up. She's ready to fight again. Obviously the Chris Weidman like spinning wheel kick, spin kick, not the best idea. I don't anticipate her getting caught in a submission or in a grappling issue. And she was just a little bit too eager for the takedowns in the last fight. And I think that could kind of end up happening again, where she just feels like I just have to force the wrestling. And Noah says right here, Shev needs to be a wrestler. I think that was part of the issue though in the last fight, was she was so eager to the wrestling that Grasso was able to start anticipating it. Grasso didn't look too bad. She was able to get up in several spots. Valentina did have a little bit of a crucifix at one point, but didn't do anything with it. And Alexa stayed really calm. This is Noche UFC. Alexa Grasso is a plus money champion dog here, and she sends her up to the 135 division, where Shevchenko tries to capture a belt before the end of her career. But UFC cover curse, everything above. Alexa Grasso wins this by decision. Lou, you want to go first?
Yep. I'll make it 20 seconds. Sitting champion in a rematch as an underdog has been insanely profitable. Insanely profitable that the champion as an underdog in a rematch wins. Mm-hmm. Give me Alexa Grasso. Let's get it done.
I love it. JB.
Yeah, I think Grasso's going to have to just show what she showed in the first fight and what she's shown in all of her fights. And she's got to have that dog in her. I know that's like the saying nowadays, but it's the truth. And she definitely does. She's got that Mexican heart. I think she's going to have the crowd behind her. Sure, Valentina could have wrestling success here, but she did have wrestling success in the first fight. And Grasso was able to, like you said, stay calm, use defense to get back to her feet, where she was able to box her up. And Shevchenko slows down as the fight goes on. she's not really the highest of volume. So I could see Grasso piecing her up and maybe even trying to use some offensive wrestling. I expect Valentina to throw a lot more body kicks this fight as well. Short breakdown, but I actually really like Grasso here.
It's all good.
And
appreciate it.
that's thing I will say.
Yeah.
Kopylov versus Frennd, if it lasts long enough, that's a yam bag spot for you right there, Lou.
I like it. Yeah, and I'm sorry to rush through the end of the breakdown here. The time just got away, but obviously we'll be back next week. And I'll be on tomorrow with the LFA breakdown as well. Or it actually might be in the community tab because Ashley Nichols is on the card. Jeffrey Craig is on the card.
Bo Nichols?
Not quite. More like Ashley Rosa. Just my 2 cents. Are you on the Grasso train? Are we ending with the 2 dogs?
No, I'm gonna put the Grasso train to a screeching halt right here. And since you got to go, I'll make this one short and sweet. Thank you for having me. Shout out to the A team. Shout out to the chat. Smash the like button for Aaron the dog. And Valentina gets her belt back. And still, Noche UFC.
Wait,
Viva
and
Fernando.
still? Okay,
Viva,
and still?
Viva Fernando Padilla.
You
Viva
said it.
Fernando Padilla. Viva la Mexico. Thank you, Aaron the dog. I love you all. Goodbye.
I appreciate it. Real quick before we take off, Lou, let everybody know where they can check you the rest of the week, and then I'll give out the Zhang Li parlay.
NFL show in an hour with Wiz. I do all the work. He's the panderer. And then 10 p.m. Top Cakey, Aaron Waters show, who I've never worked with. If you guys know Aaron, he's fucking funny as shit. Aaron and I are doing the prop show tonight at 10 p.m. I have enough time to configure out how to do this. The sombrero with the headphones, and Aaron's like a fucking maniac. This should be a really fun show.
All Aarons are maniacs. Appreciate you, Lou. Appreciate you, Jewish Bettor. Appreciate you, 2 cents. The Zhang Li parlay is at plus 1275 for Noche UFC. And it starts with Roman Kopylov. It is followed by shocker of the night, Fernando Padilla, followed by Kevin Holland, Alexa Grasso. And the one that I went back and forth with, I switched Lupe out. I switched a few others out. Edgar Chairez is the final leg. So, yes, he's at the beginning, but he was the final leg I was deciding on. So, in all honesty, Chairez was my final leg I'm having trouble on. If you want to trust Lupe instead of Chairez, go ahead. But that is the Zhang Li parlay plus 1275 right now. Put $20 down on it, and you're going to win a couple $200. So it's up to you, or don't do it. It's all good, but appreciate the panel. We will see you next week. Look in the community tab for the LFA picks. Peace out, everybody.